modeling the pandemic. Okay, so for these kinds of the data science projects, we need some requirements, we need some software setups. Okay, and these software setups are like Python programming. Okay, so that is important. Then Jupyter Notebook, that is the platform which is important, that is required to install in your laptops, in your desktops, as well as the Anaconda distribution package that is required for the different kind of the platforms, as well as the languages on which we are going to do the coding for these kind of projects. Python libraries we require, and very important, we require the COVID data sets for further data analysis as well as the data science kind of things. So the primary focus of this tutorial is to learn how we can model the pandemic in data science, as well as we are going to build the prediction models using machine learning approach. So the two things in this session we are going to have, one is the COVID-19 pandemic. We are going to understand, we are going to collect the different data sets. We are going to acquire the different data sets of the COVID-19 current situation, as well as we are going to the models, the pandemic models like SIR, SIER, these are the different models. Then the understanding the various data sets, how to import these data set, how to read this data set, that will be included in this session, as well as we are going to have the role of data science, like the pre-processing kind of the tools, data visualization, machine learning based models, as well as the prediction for the future cases and how many cases will be there, and the different future analysis or the predictions for this case study. So let's start, and with this session will be divided into the three parts: reading the data sets, data processing, and building the models. Okay, so first of all, we are going to learn how to read the data set. Then we are going to learn the data processing and data analysis. And then finally, using the machine learning algorithm, we are going to build the different models. Okay, so let's start with the first of all introduction, that is the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. As all of we know that the COVID-19, that is the coronavirus disease, that this is an infectious disease, and which is caused by the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, that is the SARS-CoV-2, that is also mentioned as. And it was first identified in the December 2019 in Wuhan, okay, China. And now all you know, and the impacts nowadays in the world. Okay, it has resulted in a pandemic. Okay, whole world is nowadays suffering from this COVID-19, and many people died in this situation. Many people also recovered. Okay, so it's going on. So this what is pandemic? Okay, so as we are going to model the pandemic situations, so first of all we need to define what is pandemic, or we need to understand what is the pandemic. Pandemic is a widespread occurrence of an infectious or that kind of diseases over the whole country or the world at the particular time. That is the pandemic. Okay, so the next we'll see, that is the analysis, and this analysis mainly focuses on the different things like what is the current COVID-19 situation in India, the state-wise comparison that we are going to see, what should be the, then next thing, that is what is the current situation, state-wise comparison, what could be the reason behind the cases clusters found in India, is the lockdown in India successful or not, how to build the different prediction models. So these kind of the things that we are going to learn in the particular session. Okay, so the next thing is data sources. We have collected some data sources from the different sources like twitter.com, wikipedia.com, then we have the api.covid19.india, okay, that.com. So Wikipedia, Twitter.com, and many websites that we have, from that we have acquired the data sets for our analysis. Okay, and as you know, for the analysis and the prediction models, we require some data and that data sets for the COVID situation. And this, without data, we cannot train the models, we cannot build the models, we cannot test. Okay, hence we can say that data is a new oil today, and we have collected some COVID data sets from the different sources. Okay, so this is the data sources, which is also an important thing in the COVID-19 modeling using data science. The next thing is data pre-processing. Data pre-processing, this is the data mining technique that involves the transformation of the raw data into the readable format or understandable format. Because sometimes what happens, the real world data is incomplete, it is not in the proper form. Okay, so some features in that, these are missing, so it will leads to some errors. Okay, so our system or the algorithm will fail for the different cases. So that's why the data pre-processing that we are dealing in, which with the missing data as well as some outliers and some other things that we are going to resolve this kind of issues in the data pre-processing. So for this particular case study of the COVID-19, so this data processing steps are shown here. So the data processing, we collected some databases. Okay, so that is the raw data that is in the raw form. We need to convert it into the readable form. Okay, so we need to convert that raw data into the readable form or understandable form. We need to create the separate files. Okay, so that first of all, that single file we have collected, but after that
just a second,
we need
I request everyone not to paint anything on the screen, otherwise we will remove you out of the group. Please, I request you to maintain the decorum and please maintain the decorum. You can start, sir.
Yes. Okay, so see, the raw that is in the single file, we need to make the separate files based on their purposes. Like we need to represent that data for the state-wise data or vaccination kind of data or the daily new cases on the COVID-19. So these kind of the different purposes we have to analyze in this COVID-19 modeling as well as COVID data using the data. So that's why these things are important, as well as the different formulas are included here. Date rate in the state is calculated by the formula. To calculate the date, we have the formula, that is number of deaths divided by total confirmed case 200. Recovery in each state is calculated by formula. Recovery is of recovery confirmed cases in 200. So we need to split the data according to the lockdown periods also. So different kind of analysis for that we have different kind of files. Separate files need to be created there. So the null values in the state-wise data, that is filled with the average. Okay, so that will be one of the issue when we are having the null values in some data sets. You need to visualize some parameters as well as the data or the reports. Okay, some plots as well as graphs. For that purpose, we have a data visualization kind of libraries. So the different types of the visualizations we have used, that is pie chart, bar plots, line plots, 3D plots. Okay, using pie chart, we can show the active recovered as well as percentage COVID and the gender distribution also in this pandemic. Okay, then bar plot, this will show the state comparison of various factors, age-wise distribution, etc. Then we can also use the line plots for showing data. to show the confirmed cases, recovered cases, and the decreased cases. Okay, trend of the COVID-19, as well as 3D plots we can draw. Okay, to show the state-wise daily count of the confirmed cases. Okay, so let me tell you that these are some of the theoretical concepts how the practical approach also. To have the programming in the data science tools. We are having the Python programming, either we can have R programming for this modeling of this pandemic in data science using the different software as well as platforms. Okay.
Ganesh sir,
so next is important.
Ganesh sir, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. Your voice is a bit unclear, sir. Can you please try changing your headphones or slightly move it away from your.
Okay. Yes.
Don't keep it too close.
It is okay now. It is okay now.
Still some echo is there, sir. Can you try connecting with any other headphones, if possible?
Just give me 2 minutes. Okay.
Sorry for this inconvenience for dear participants. Just give it 1 minute so that sir will be joining us back again.
Okay. It is okay now?
Much better, sir.
And also,
Okay.
I request everybody to fill the form as we'll be sending the certificates. And whosoever has already filled it, please don't fill the form again. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. So the important thing is to read the database from local disks as well as the different clouds. From that we can read the data sets. Okay, so the different syntaxes you can see in your screen, like import the pandas as PD, import numpy as NP. Okay, data pd.read_csv. What is the data add function, data.shape function, data.tell function, data.describe, what these are. Okay, so there will be the lot of questions in your mind, but don't worry about this. We are going to resolve all questions and questions to you. Okay. So first of all, what this PD is, what the pandas is, what the numpy is, what NP stands for, what are the different these coding syntaxes are there. Okay. So see, in the data science, we have different kind of the tools. We are using the different languages. We can use R programming, we can use Python programming. Okay. So here in this case study, we are going to use the Python programming with the Jupyter Notebook platform. Okay, so this we are we are using this Python programming. Okay. The different libraries are there. That is the NumPy, that is a numeric Python. We have the pandas to read the data set, that is the okay. Next we have the matplotlib, we have cburn, different libraries for the different purposes that can be used. Okay, so
Dr. Ganesh, your voice is breaking. Can you just check? I guess you're logged in from 2 IDs. Can you end the other one? Hello? Dr. Ganesh, your voice is breaking. Can you check?
Hello, sir.
Sir, your voice is breaking a lot. You logged in with 2 IDs? Can you just move out of one ID, sir? Maybe it's
Just okay. We'll check.
Because the voice is breaking. So, please check it and
Okay, just a minute. Hello.
yes. Yeah. I think you're still logged in, sir, from our ID. Let me check.
Hello.
Yes, who's this?
This is okay now?
Yeah, much better, sir. Sir, why you logged in?
Okay, thank you.
You can continue, sir.
Yes. Okay, so this is the way we can read the database from the local disk as well as the cloud. Okay. So import pandas as PD. It will use for the reading the data set. The NumPy, this library of Python can be useful for the numerical operations. Then the pd.read underscore CSV. Hello. Dhruv sir, you removed me from the meeting.
Sir, no, sir. Actually, you need to you're logged in with two IDs.
Yes. I'm using my audio
just,
from other device.
Okay, so you can share your screen, sir. Okay, let me. Sir, I request you to
Just
log
a
in
minute.
from one ID. I guess that's maybe because of that it's showing the error. I mean, your voice is breaking.
One second.
You can join again, sir. I mean, because two IDs are there. Dr. Ganesh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm unable to join from other device, sir.
Okay, so you can join back again.
Yes,
from that
just a minute.
Guys, sorry for the inconvenience. We'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. We'll start the session again. Sorry for the inconvenience. Meanwhile, I request you to fill the form. Everybody, as we'll be sending you the certificates, all the new joiners can fill up the form. And anybody who has already filled it, they don't have to fill it again. So we'll just start the session soon.
Okay, sir.
No, I won't. This is for Sajan Jain. Sajan, nobody has to fill the form again if you have already filled it. For today's session, you can fill. But for data science is for today only, right? You can fill the form for today. This session is for till 6 o'clock. So we'll start the session soon. Sir, please join. Okay, sir, have you joined? Okay, Dr. Ganesh, can you hear our voice? Okay, just wait a minute.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Ganesh, we can hear you. Just a second. You can share your slide and
Dhruv
start the
sir,
session.
it is showing the message.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, it is showing that from my laptop I'm not able to join the session. It's given that you removed from the meeting.
So you can join again, sir. You can try again. I will.
Yes, I tried 3 times, sir. It is the same message. You can't join from the meeting.
Okay, let me check. Let me check. Just a second, sir. I'll add you.
Yes, sir.
Ganesh sir, you can continue your presentation. I'm presenting my screen, sir.
Okay.
So you can you can continue, sir. If you tell me next, then I'll quickly change this next slide, sir,
Okay,
next page.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, Manoj, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, can you tell me the meeting ID? So I can try once again to share the code to student.
Sir, just a second. I'll add you. Just a second.
Yes.
So until
You can join. Dr. Ganesh, you can join now. Try again.
Okay.
So until sir is resolving his technical issues, we'll be discussing about the questions. So Alok Shivare, the problem with VS Code is it is actually an IDE which is used for a lot of application development, but Jupyter notebooks. So these notebooks which are available, this will give you a good control over the libraries which are required for handling these data sets and libraries, especially for NumPy and NumPy, Pandas, Scikit-learn, and a lot more others for visualization and so on. So that is a difference between notebook and you can also use Colab for that.
Dr. Ganesh, I have changed the settings. You can try rejoining again.
Okay, sir.
Try from your laptop again. You'll be able to join.
So to people who are asking about these data sets, so you can download this data set. You can make note of this. So which is api.covid19india.org. And you can also find some relevant information from a lot of websites. Sure,
Hello.
Anushka, yeah.
Just a minute, sir. Dhruv, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Please send me the meeting. I'm not able to join from the link.
Okay, I'll send you the link.
Yes.
Dhruv and Dr. Ganesh, so can you, Dhruv, can you guide sir over a phone call? I'll take the session until then.
Okay, okay, sir.
So, hello everyone. I'm Manoj Kumar. I may not be the right person to just barge in and take the topics, but still, I myself is a certified data scientist. We will be. I'm heading the entire products and curriculum team at Unicaction. So thank you for understanding these internet difficulties, the technical difficulties we are facing. And I'm sure you all would have come across the same situations every now and then. So thank you for understanding, and we will be discussing about these topics which are required to carry out a modeling process in data science, right? So what do you mean by so let me just please correct me if I'm wrong. So is this where sir has stopped?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So first of all, data science is actually a very big domain. Okay, so when when speaking about domain, how and even a smaller application, how the small applications would be built, right? It has a front end, it has a back end, and it has a middleware which connects both these front end and back end, right? So there are lots and lots of processes associated with handling an application or building an application. The same is applicable for a data model which we are going to build. Okay, so what do you mean by a model? And this is actually not something new. Can anyone tell me when this data science has been originated? Please do not annotate, guys. I'll be or you will be forcing me to remove you from from the session. So do anyone have, okay, 2009, great, Avi Birla. So any other guesses, guys? When do you think that this data science has originated? So
No
Avi,
idea.
yeah, early 2000 in India. Okay, interesting answers, yes. So just because, we have heard it in the recent years, we are thinking that data science is comparatively new. Is that so? Okay. Yes, it is always there, Saurabh Singh. And are you guys going to believe me if I'm telling you that data science is a domain which has existed from 1962? Thank you, Alok. So this is an interesting domain. So what is this domain responsible for? It collects data from different environments, from different places, and we are trying to get some intelligence out of it, right or not? We have this, this ideology. So let's say you are looking for some pattern. All of us will look for a pattern. Am I right? So, every morning we wake up, the timing will be very common, very specific. At 8 o'clock, we wake up for the 9 o'clock college, and, we hurriedly take a bath, we eat breakfast, or we skip breakfast, we catch a bus or, a local train, and then we go to our college. So let's say, what is going to change here? Let's say you are waking up 10 minutes late. So what is going to happen? You decide to skip your breakfast, right? What if you are waking up at, after half an hour, then your actual time? So let's say you're supposed to wake up at 8 o'clock to get ready, eat breakfast, catch a bus, and maybe ride a two-wheeler to your college. If this is going to be a pattern, you would have easily identified what are the things which you should be doing, right? So let us say, what won't be in a daily activity if you are waking up 10 minutes late? What will happen when you are waking up 30 minutes late? Are you all getting my question? So we have this practice where we check if the HOD has come today or not. So in the car parking itself, in the bike parking itself, we'll look out for our HOD's vehicle or principal's vehicle. Principal will definitely be there because that is his job to come to his the college and manage everything. But during my schoolings, I would look out for my maths teacher's vehicle. If that vehicle is there, that whole day would be spoiled for me. Now you are getting a question. So if this Manoj fellow doesn't like maths, how did he become a data scientist, right? So it is extremely important that you should be knowing, you should be good at mathematics for becoming a data scientist. Yes, as a student, I hated mathematics during my schoolings, but later when I decided this to be my career option, I had no other way. I had to learn all this. So the thing I'm saying here is we are constantly looking for some patterns. So this is where a particular car would be parked, a particular vehicle would be parked. So if a teacher whom I do not like, if his vehicle is not there, so what I would be doing, I would be feeling very happy because his vehicle is, that means he is absent on a particular day, right? So this is called as a pattern, and this is not new. So we might have come across different variants of advertisements, right? So for every company, it is extremely important to understand how these advertisements are supposed to work, how these marketing campaigns are supposed to work, right? And that pattern has changed quite a lot. We have never seen an EdTech company promoting their products on a channel, right? On a television channel. But nowadays, we are getting lots and lots of advertisements, and whoever we like the most, be it Virat Kohli, be it MS Dhoni or anyone else, all of them are coming and they are advising us to enhance our skills with these certification programs. So what has changed in this? The pandemic situation has completely turned everything upside down, right or not?
Yes, sir.
This pattern was not there, right? In just 2 years back, this pattern was not there. Everyone was taking care of their work. Morning 9 to 5 job was there. Everyone picked up their, everyone picked up their work up, got ready for their offices, they went to their offices, worked from 9 to 5, came back home and started enjoying their life. But nowadays, your parents, even your parents would be feeling the same thing, right? They stay at home, they are completely they are working out for 16, 18 hours because they are already at home and they have to take care of both the work and home. So this has completely changed, and no one would have come up with a pattern that this is going to happen. But comparatively, when compared to this lockdown or this, this curfew in 2020 and the curfew which happened in 2021, there were a lot of, we got this as a regular practice, right? So we know how to attend an online class without even attending, right? We know how to write an exam without getting any without getting any problems. We know how to pass with flying colors even without studying. So all these are simplified for us. So this has brought us to a new new lifestyle, right or not? And this is not accomplished in one day. It has almost took us 1 year to identify the drawbacks, what could be done, what cannot be done, and how something can be improvised. So all these will be accomplished with the help of data science applications, machine learning models. So what do you mean by a data science application? There are data throughout this. I would like to tell you an interesting scenario here. So let us say, how many of you have planned for a trip to Goa, or you are, for boys it is always Goa. I'm actually from the southern part of India. Okay, so I'm from Tamil Nadu. It is always a boy's dream. When I did my graduation, all my friends, at least most of my friends, would have planned to go to Goa, right? And similarly, all of you, if there are people who are above a particular age group, they would be planning to go to a temple, a very famous pilgrimage spot, right? This has personally happened to us, to myself and my friends. What happened is, we were planning something on our WhatsApp group. Okay, so we created a group for going to Goa, and what we were planning was, when we are supposed to plan, and when we are supposed to go there, when is the suitable climate for going to Goa, and everything has been discussed over a chat in this group. At that time, that was during my graduation in 2010. So that is almost 11 years back. We were completely new to this Facebook, and we logged in. We started receiving a number of advertisements related to Goa's resorts, beautiful, wonderful resorts that are nearby, near the beaches and so on. At that point of time, we were not brilliant enough to apply what we are studying. So we have been studying about these data, right? So the database management system. So all these papers are there. I mean, all these subjects were there, right? So we didn't relate how these concepts are actually implemented into these applications. Later, when we joined these companies, we started building some projects and models. Then we came to know how Facebook was able to show us these ads, all with the help of data-driven design. So I would usually say this in every classes. So we have been studying a concept called object-oriented programming, right? So what do you mean by object-oriented programming? So some number of advanced functionalities will be will be deployed, right? So polymorphism is there, inheritance is there, abstract classes, security, encapsulation, lots and lots of new features, and these features can be enhanced to the next level with every advanced language we are trying to program in, right? What if I'm telling you that object-oriented programming is dead? It is no more practiced. Do you know why? Because there is an interesting concept called data-driven design, right? So object-oriented programming is actually dead. You can tell this because this batch of students know the reason for that, and object-oriented programming has been replaced by a concept called data-driven design, triple D, right? whatever you are giving on your smartphone, whatever you are giving on your mobile application, smartphone and mobile application are the same, and different Android applications, whatever you are saving on your browser, whatever you are searching on your browser, everything becomes data, right? And these data, believe me guys, Facebook, Google, you are free to watch these YouTube videos. Why do you think that YouTube is allowing you to just start off a channel and earn millions of dollars? It is because you host a video, you provide them their information. Some people come into your channel, they watch your video, their information will be captured. I'm not telling you all these to threaten you. Please, please, please don't take it in the wrong way. It is not about threatening you guys. It is more than giving you this knowledge, right? So please be aware that you are always monitored. Okay? So that is very important that you understand how you are being monitored, and make sure and don't think that when you are in your incognito mode, no one can trace you back. Ultimately, whatever you are searching has to go through a gateway, and that gateway of information will be maintained by your ISP, internet service provider, be it Airtel, be it Vodafone, be it Jio. Everyone has your data at any given point of time, right? And all these information are collected in terms of CSV files, Excel files, JSON files, and the HTML files, SQL files are some of the other terminologies which we are going to use. So based on where your particular data is going to be stored, we will be having those information processed accordingly. And just to ensure that your data is not consuming so much memory, we have come up with a concept called MongoDB. How many of you know MongoDB? Yes, Alok. So the store is known for protecting your sensitive information about your locations, your these things. So anyways, there are other potential elements which you can still be exposed to. Okay, so I guess Dr. Ganesh has returned to the session, so I'm handing over the session to him. Ganesh sir.
Hello, I
Yeah.
joined from other device, sir.
So you are able to present your screen, sir, or do you want me to continue presenting?
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. You can continue, sir.
Yes, yes. Can I share my screen?
Yes, I'm stopping my shares. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
And sorry for
Thank
these
you, sir.
technical issues. Yeah, bye.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Manoj sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
no
sorry for
issues.
the disturbance from my side. Yes.
And I request all the new joiners to fill up the forms, as we'll be sending the certificates. So whosoever has already filled it, please don't fill it again. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You can share your screen.
Yes, sir. Just a minute. Sharing.
You sharing your screen, sir?
Yes, yes, just a minute, sir. Just a minute.
Okay. Yes, sir. We can see your screen, and please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm facing problem from that device. Okay. So I'm not going to join. Okay. So you can share on behalf of me. Hello.
Yes, sir. What happened?
Can you share your screen, or no, sir?
I've shared it, sir. Continue, please.
Okay. 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 Get to previous slide, sir. Yes. One more. Okay. So we are talking about the steps for the reading the data sets from the local cloud as well as uh, the what we can say from the local disk. Okay. So the different kind of the data visualization kinds of the technologies are there. Okay. So we can use a different kinds of the charts like a pie chart, bar plot, line plots, 3D plots to visualize the things. Okay. Like whatever the things we require to show there in the COVID data analysis. Okay. Next slide, sir. Okay, so these are the some of the syntaxes like import the pandas as PD. Okay, what I talked about previously, like pandas and the NumPy, Seaborn, Matplotlib. These are the Python libraries that we can use. Okay, for the different purposes. Like pandas can be used for the reading the data sets. NumPy can be used as a numerical Python or the numerical operations. The syntax to read the data set from the local disk or from the cloud, that is pd.read underscore csv. So here the pd stands for the object for the pandas, and the read underscore csv, it will import the csv file format from the cloud. Okay, then data.head function, data.shape, data.tell, as well as data.describe. These different functions will give us a information as well as the shape information, the number of the uh, rows and columns of the data, the overview of this data that can be shown by this syntax. Okay, this code. Next slide, please, sir. Okay, so these are the some of the examples of the file format what we are using in the data science, like CSV file, Excel file we can use. We can use a JSON files, HTML files. We can use SQL files. Okay, pickle files. So these are the different kinds of files we are using. We can import in the data science. Okay, so most commonly we are using the CSV file formats and Excel file formats. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we talked about the COVID-19. Okay, we talked about the different pre-processing kind of things. Now this is a time to talk about the responsibilities and the roles of data scientists in this pandemic situation, as well as the analysis of the different data related to the pandemic conditions. Next slide, sir. Okay. Data science process. Okay, So this is the flow chart you can say for the data science process. First of all, the raw data is there. As I said, raw data should be converted into the readable file format. Okay, so that can be done with the help of the data pre-processing. So raw data collection that is there, then we need to convert it into the readable file, okay, formats. Then we are having the data processing. In the data processing, we have different kind of the tools. Then we have the data wrangling, that is also called as the data cleaning. We are going to clean some irrelevant data or the unwanted data, or the different columns and the different rows which are not required actually in the process. That is called as a data cleaning. Okay, so then we have a data exploration or the data visualization, and the different reports can be created to deploy that to the actual data science we are following for this case study of the COVID-19 pandemic modeling in the today's session. Next slide, sir. So what we can do actually today I want to show you the code, how to do the coding for the modeling of the pandemic situation in the data science as well as machine learning with the help of the Jupyter notebook and the Python programming. But due to some technical issues, it won't be possible today. So tomorrow's session, it will include the total coding, okay, practical approach to create the model, how to train the model and get the predictions from this particular model. Okay, so in the today's session, we are going to have some theoretical concept and how to build this model. What are the different prerequisite kind of things? What is the concept behind that? Background behind this particular problem case study that today we will discuss. So before the going to build the model, some important things you need to learn, you need to understand, that is the components of data science. What different things we require. First, as I said, we require the data. Okay, without data we can't do anything. Data is the integral part of this process. Okay, so collection of data, that is the important part. After that, the next thing is programming. Okay, we need to code something, we need to build the models. Okay, so for that we require some programming, we require some software setups. Okay, then we have statistics and probability, that is also a part of the data science, because we need to calculate some statistical parameters like mean, mode, median, as well as the harmonic means, mean square error, root mean square error. So to find out the accuracy and sensitivity, so we have different kind of concept like confusion matrix, as well as the different statistical parameters. So for that purpose, we need to understand some concept from the statistics and probability. Okay, as we are talking about the prediction of the data or prediction of some parameters, so it obviously it includes the probability. Okay, study of probability. That's why the statistics and probability, it comes as an integral part of the data science. Next thing is the machine learning. Machine learning means using the machine learning algorithms, we are going to create the models, we are going to build the models. We are training some data machine with some databases, previous databases that we are going to feed to the machine. Okay, and so machine will learn from the previous data sets and it will act accordingly to predict some different parameters. Okay, so that will be the machine learning, and it will having the different concept, it will have the different models. Okay, different the technology. So we will discuss about that in the brief in the today's session. Okay, next is the mathematics. Obviously the mathematics is the important part, because you can see the second library also of the Python, that is the NumPy. So numerical Python, as well as the word computer, it itself, it comes from the compute. Okay, so that's why that becomes computer. So the mathematical background is a very important for this process. So the components of data science are data, programming, statistics, probability, machine learning, and mathematics. So these are the parts of the machine that data science, and these are also the components of the data science. Next slide, please. So these are the fields of data science. You might heard about the different fields related to the data science, like the data analytics, what is the data analysis is, what the data mining is, big data, machine learning. So different kinds of the fields which are related to the data science. Okay, so some student they are confused in this particular fields. Okay, so what the data science, what is the difference between the data analytics and data analysis is, how it differs from the data science, how the data mining is differs from data science and big data. Okay, so these things are important to know. So data science, actually data science, it is the as the science is there. Okay, so it is not engineering part. So as the concepts are there, and we are going to have the going to create some of the discoveries. Okay, so that is the data science actually, and we are going to create the models that can be used for the future purpose. Data analytics is all about the market trends. We are predicting the market trends. We are analyzing the data. Okay, that is called as the data analysis. Data mining kind of thing. Okay, so in that, the different processing kind of the things that are included in that. Okay, next is the big data. Okay, so big data, actually in the big data we are dealing with the large data sets. Okay, so that is the big data. So these are the some of the related fields of the data science. And the last one is the machine learning. After the data processing and the data science, we require the machine learning models, machine learning algorithms, and that will play a very important role to create the models and build the models. For the training the machines, we require the machine learning algorithms like supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement, deep learning, the RNN or the artificial neural network kind of things that we require to train the models. Next slide, please.
So once again, explain what is data mining, sir.
Just a minute. Yes, data mining, it includes the processing kind of things in the data science. Okay, so data mining, actually it includes the different concept like the missing data or the outliers. Okay, so when we are talking about these kind of things, then we can say this is the data mining. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, after the session also, I'm get back to your questions. I will explain the data mining in very detailed manner. Okay.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Yes. So these are the tools for data science, data analysis, the machine learning, data warehousing, data visualization. Okay. So as I told you, data analysis, it involves the analysis of the data. Okay. We are analyzing the data. First of all, we need to understand the data. Okay. Because it's all about to get some meaningful conclusions from that databases. Okay. So the databases are the random databases we are having. So the data scientist, what is the role of data scientist? To get the meaningful information, meaningful conclusions from that raw data sets. Okay, so that is the main data analysis is. And we are going to create some report. We are going to create some graphs, plots using this particular things. So we are going to get the market trends as well as the different prediction kind of things using these tools. So these things are related to each other. This machine learning, data visualization, data warehousing. Data warehousing, actually it is a construction of different kind of the sources, different kinds of the databases that deals with the different heterogeneous data sets actually. Okay, so data visualization is regarding to visualize the different data sets using the different Python libraries. We can do that. Okay, so next slide, please, sir. Okay, so why we are studying this data science, why we are talking about this data science, because it finds too many applications in the different domains. Okay, there is one question. I will take that question after the completion of this session. Okay, so the different applications are there of the data science, like internet search, recommender systems, gaming, transportation. We can use the data science in the image recognition as well as the speech recognition. There are the different applications of this data science. Okay, next slide, please, sir. Yes, in the agriculture domain also, we can use the data science. We can have the weather prediction. We can use the data science for the fertilizers recommendation. We can use the data science for adaptation to climate change. We can use this for the digital soil and crop mapping. Okay, So the disease of the crops and the detection for the, as well as the pest management, we can use the data science. Automated irrigation system nowadays, agrobots, as well as the different agriculture projects, artificial intelligence and data science based agriculture projects are launched. Next slide, please. Okay, so we can use the data science in business also. Okay, so it will create an impact. Okay, it will create an impact in the market analysis also. It empowers the management to make the better decisions. We are having the different algorithms like decision tree, the support vector machine, reinforcement learning. So these things will help us to grow our business. Okay, so it will help to identify the trends to stay the competitiveness. It will increase the efficiency and commitment for the different elements in the industries. Okay, so it will identify and it will act upon the opportunities, as well as it will promote the low risk data driven action plans. It will validate the decisions. It will help in selecting the target audience as per the customer behavior. Okay, so the recruitment and the hiring process, that will also be automated using the data science projects. Next slide, please. So these are the skills which are required to become a data scientist. We need to have the knowledge of statistics. We need to have the knowledge of programming skills, machine learning, data management, and the communication skills. So these things are very important for becoming a data scientist. So you need to know about the statistical parameters, statistical algorithm. You should have a statistical approach, programming skills, like you should know the Python programming, you should know the R language. Okay, you should know the different packages, you should know different libraries. Okay, so you should know about the machine learning algorithms, then how to manage the data. These things are also important. Then the next thing is communication skills. That is also an important part of the data scientist job. Next slide, please. So this is the complete data science process. So first of all, we need to analyze the question first of all. So what is our goal and what is the aim of this particular process? So first of all, we are going to ask the questions. To whom we are asking the questions? We are asking the questions to ourselves. What are our goals? Okay, so what the outcome we are going to get from this data set? Okay, so this is the actually data science is a scientific process. So what is the final outcome? What is the final goal? That should be decided first of all. Okay, so so that will help us to create our flow of this total. This is a whole journey. Okay, so that's why the first thing is to create the questions, to determine or to decide the goal or the aim of this particular process. Okay, so what the outcomes we are getting, what the different the predictions we are getting after this particular process, that will be decided first of all. And according to that particular goals and the aim, the targets, we need to get that data. Okay, the relevant data is very important. That's why we need to ask the some kind of questions like how, where the data is sampled, which data are relevant, and are these data are privacy issues. Okay, so some of the data are having the privacy issues, so you need to get the permission from that particular owner. Okay, so this is the second thing, to acquire the data acquisition or the collection of data is the second step in the data science process. Third step is that explore the data. Whatever the data sets we got, whatever the data we have, that should be explored. We need to plot the data. We need to create some graphs. Okay, are there any patterns or anomalies? You need to find out that. So these relations depends upon the different parameters. Okay, so we need to explore this the different columns and rows in the data. Next is the model the data. Okay, model the data, in which it includes the part of machine learning processing or the machine learning algorithms. In this process, we are going to build the model. We are going to fit the model, the validation of the model. Okay, we are going to test the model. So this will be included in the machine learning process. Okay, next last step is to communicate and visualize the results. Okay, so after all these steps, what the results we are getting and what did we learn, that is the important. So do the result make the sense? Can we tell a story? So these things are, the prediction is the important thing, and that should be conveyed in a form of reports. Okay, so we should have the communication with the help of the graphs and plots to the end users. So this is the complete data science process actually, and that we are following for this case study also. Next slide, sir. Okay, so this is the first step, that is the asking the questions. Okay, so the surveys, different kind of the Google forms or the different inputs to the different devices, like different searches in the web URL. So this can be a source of data. So we are having this databases. So first of all, asking the questions, different kind of the surveys that will create the data set, or that will create a input to us. Next slide, please, sir. So data acquisition, we are having the databases from the different websites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Okay, so different website and different also GitHub, we can get various data sets. Next slide, please. Okay, so third step is the data wrangling or data cleaning, you can say. So in that we are having the we are going to deal with the data set. We are going to deal with the missing terms as well as the outliers. Okay, so the data wrangling, it is an important thing. In this, we are removing the unwanted or the irrelevant data which is not needed in the particular process. And the fourth step is the data exploration, that to discover the data patterns, to visualize the data. That is the data exploration. Is actually we are getting the understandable form, understandable reports from this step. That is called as the data exploration and the data visualization. Next slide, sir. Okay, so after all this discussion, the roles and responsibility of data scientists, particularly in the COVID-19 situation, and the different features of the data science, as well as the different tools and the different fields related to data science and the different data science processes. Okay, so the next thing that is very important to know, that is the challenge to the data scientist. In this particular case studies, we need to have some you need to consider some different kind of the challenges, like data quality should be maintained, data integration, that is the complicated task. Data integration means we are getting so many files, we are having the different data set, but what data is relevant to our question, what data is relevant to our case study, that is important, and that relevant data should be integrated. Okay, so at that time that will be having the different rows and columns, so that will create a problem. Okay, okay, so data is distributed in a large clusters, so it is a difficult to analyze the data. Okay, so because in the real world, data will be in the form of unstructured sets, as well as it will be in the form of semi-structured set. Okay, so it's a role of data scientists to convert that particular raw data into the suitable format. Okay, so which can be readable. Okay, which can be suitable for the machine also. Okay, so next slide, please, sir. So these are the challenges for the data scientists. Yes, next slide, please, sir. Okay, so after the discussion on the data science and the processes included in it, the next thing is why we are going to study this pandemic models or epidemic models. What is the need of that? As today we are facing, all world is suffering from this COVID-19. We need to have some this prerequisite what we can say, the it should give some intimation, or what we can say, the prediction kind of things for these kind of pandemics. So we should have the take care about these things. So that's why we need to study this pandemic model to supplement the statistical extrapolation, to learn more about the qualitative dynamics of the disease. Okay, what kind of the diseases are,
and what are the symptoms of disease, how fast it can spread, okay, among the people. That is one of the part of study, to test the hypothesis about this case studies, strategies, disease transmission, significant characteristics and symptoms of this disease. For these particular studies, we require to have this epidemic models. Okay, so statistical extrapolation means what? To have the statistical understanding of these particular diseases. Okay, so what are the current trends are, what will be the future trends are. Okay, so according to the population, according to the number of person, okay, so how the disease is going to transmit from one person to other person. Okay, so that comes under this statistical extrapolation. Okay, next slide please, sir. Okay, so there are the different models, different epidemic models we are having, like a SIR model. Now this SIR means what? That S stands for the susceptible, I stands for the infections, and R is for the recovery. Okay, so the infection diseases, it will kill the millions of people worldwide. So malaria, TB, HIV/AIDS, these are the some of the infectious diseases that we know. Okay, so these kind of the diseases and the study regarding to these diseases, it involves the SIR models. Okay, so this model will permit us to predict the different kind of the parameters, like what are the cost and benefits of the different control strategies, when should there will be the quarantines. Okay, about the lockdown periods, okay, that we can also predict, who should receive the vaccinations, when should wildlife or domestic animals be killed, which human populations are most vulnerable, how many people are likely to be infected, to get sick, to die. So these kind of the predictions can be done with the help of the SIR models. So that is the feature of SIR model. That's why we can use this SIR model for the this particular case study of the COVID-19. Next slide, please. Okay, so you can see over here, yes,
Dr.
I
Dinesh,
and R.
somebody has questions that can you give an example of statistical exploration?
Yes, sir. Already there, I have mentioned that the malaria, TB,
Okay.
as well as the HIV/AIDS. These are the some of the examples and the case studies related to that. So that will be the example of this particular SIR models. Statistical extrapolation models. Yes. So we require to give some statistical parameters to different kind of the authorities. Like suppose Indian government wants the information or the statistic regarding some diseases. Okay, so it will come under that particular point. Okay, I think this point is clear to you. Yes. Shall I? Okay, so this in this simple SIR model, S stands for the susceptibles. Susceptible means have no immunity from the disease. The infected means have the disease and it can spread to the others. And recovered, that's R stand for the same. And these are the this is the parameter who have recovered from the disease and they are immune to the further infection. Okay, so these databases or these particular models are depends upon these three parameters, S, I, and R. Okay, the next slide, please, sir. Okay, so R is not realistic. Okay, R means recovery, and that plays an important role. Okay, so if there is no immunity after being sick, individuals cycle between the S and I. What do we then need to add the model? So that is the R. Okay, so recovery, that is the important part. So I into R, that will give us some predictions. Next slide, sir. Yes. So the I into R infection rate, that will give us the recovery rate that is mentioned here by the term V. Okay. So this is the particular SIR model. We are not going to in very deep in this SIR model because we are building this model using a machine learning algorithms like a linear regression, support vector machine, where we can also use the clustering also for the different kind of the diseases. Next slide, sir. Yes, please, next slide. Okay, so this SIR model that can be enhanced by using different parameters. Okay, we can consider the different parameters in that. Okay, so SIRS, SIS, and the double models are sometimes used for the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, as well as we can consider the bias mixing, age differences, multiple types of the transmission, geographic spread. Enhancement often require more compartments. So different kinds of the parameters that can be included to enhance the SIR model. Next slide, sir. And the next model is SIER that we will explain now. Next slide, sir. Okay. So for these SIR models, SIER models, and the different prediction models, we are using the machine learning approach. Actually, the machine learning approach, it is a 5-step process. A basic math is there. In that, we are going to have the linear algebra and probability. We are having the statistic part also, the basic statistical concept. We are having the programming part. We can use the Python or R language. For this case study, we are using Python programming. Machine learning concept, as well as the practice Kaggle, as well as the different data sets are required there, okay, to build the model. Next slide. Okay, so this is the machine learning process. Input data is there. So that input data is provided to the machine, and this machine learning process will take place. And then we are going to deploy that to the different kind of the systems to get the output data. Okay, so data can be of two types: structured data or unstructured data. And we are creating the models using the different machine learning algorithms, and the predictions delivered by the different kind of the websites or the dashboards, so directly into the business system that can be deployed. Okay, so the different modern day tools, as well as the modern day businesses are dependent on this machine learning processes. Yes, there is one question: what is structured data and what is unstructured data? Structured data means that data, it is in the proper format. Okay, so that is in the structured way, not in a random way. But unstructured data, it is in the random way. Okay, so suppose we are having the data set of the cricket players. Okay, suppose we have a different cricket players from the different countries, and there we are having the another columns like their scores, their number of matches, their number of hundreds, number of 50s. Okay, so this kind of data set, that is the structured data. Okay, so you can directly get to know what are the different things are there. These things are in a proper format. But unstructured data means, suppose you are going to get the data set from the what we can say, from the different website. Okay, so they are having the different requirements. So suppose we are having the data set for the suppose the more are there, so the customers are not filling the data structured. Okay, so you cannot get the structured way format, or the proper features are not included in that. Okay, so features are important. Okay, so we are talking on this particular concept again in this some of the slides. Okay, so structured and unstructured means data is in a structured way. It is given in some particular format. The rows and columns are structured, labels, and unstructured data means that data is not labeled. Okay, while I'm talking about the labeled data and not labeled data, so it is also meaning having the structured data and unstructured data. Okay, in the databases we have the different kinds of variables like a dependent variable and independent variable. Means simply saying independent variables, these are the input variables, and the dependent variables are the output variables. There is the relationship between the output variables and input variables. Okay, means the dependent variables and independent variables. So that relation is can be considered with the structured data set. Okay, not in the unstructured data set. So that's why we are having the different machine learning algorithms, like the supervised and unsupervised machine learning algorithm. See, supervised machine learning algorithm, in that particularly we are using the structured databases. Okay, in that the independent variable and dependent variables are directly given. No hidden patterns we need to understand or we need to determine. Okay, in the supervised machine learning algorithms. But in the unsupervised machine learning algorithm, we are dealing with the unstructured data. We are dealing with the findings of unknown patterns. Okay, the input patterns and output patterns are not known to the system. Okay, so that is the primary task in the unstructured databases or the unsupervised machine learning. So that is actually about the structured data and unstructured data. Then we are going to create the models using the different algorithm. And this data set is, it may be a structured data or unstructured data that is provided to the machine learning algorithms. And depending upon that, we are creating the models. And it will, it has the 3 steps. We are going to create the model. Then we are going to train the model. We are going to build the model, and we are going to test the model. So these are the different machine learning processes which are included in this particular case studies. Okay, and finally, whatever the predictions model we determine, these things we can deploy to the real world problems. Okay, so this is the machine learning process actually. Next slide. Next slide, please, sir. Yes. So as I said, there are the 3 types of machine learning algorithms, and same COVID-19 analysis model, prediction model, what we are going to build, that based on these 3 machine learning algorithms. We are going to build the machine learning algorithm based on these 3 types: supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, and the reinforcement machine learning. Supervised machine learning means in which the data patterns are known. Okay, the input patterns are known, output patterns are known. We just need to deploy this. We need to create the models, build the model, and test model. That's it. Okay, depending upon the simple problems. But in the unsupervised machine learning, these problems are not fixed. These are the random problems. In this, the hidden patterns are not known. We need to find out these hidden patterns first of all. So the input patterns, output patterns are not known. We need to find out these patterns, these features first of all. The feature extraction is the primary step in the unsupervised machine learning. So first we need to predict these kind of the things. Okay, unknown things we need to predict first of all. Unknown features we need to predict or the extract first of all, and then we are creating these kind of models. We are training this kind of models, and we are testing these models. Okay, and then we are finding the results, and then we are deploying this particular to the real world. And the last one is the reinforcement machine learning. Reinforcement machine learning, it is a the gaming type of system or the reward based system. It is we can say this is the performance based system. Okay, like a different kind of examples like artificial based systems. Okay, so the reinforcement machine learning in which the reward system is there. So as the your tasks are completed, you will get a new task, and as per your rewards and your points, you will move forward for the next thing. Okay, so driverless cars, so different artificial intelligence based systems which nowadays we are using, that is all that depends upon the reinforcement machine learning, created using the reinforcement machine learning. Okay, so these are the three types of machine learning algorithms that we are using for our the COVID-19 modeling session. Okay, next slide, sir. Yes. So simply, when we talking about these three models, these three algorithms, in the supervised, data is labeled data. We have direct feedbacks. We can predict the outcomes and the future very easily in the supervised machine learning. Supervised means simply you can understand that supervisor is present. Okay, the input and the output is known. What the goal is and what the things which are provided to the system, these are known. Okay, so data is labeled, data is structured in this process. Next, the unsupervised learning, where the data is not labeled data. Okay, it is in the unstructured way. Next is the no feedbacks are available there. We need to find the hidden structures in the data. Third is the reinforcement learning. It is based on the decision process. Means you can say that the collection of decision trees is nothing but the reinforcement learning. It is a reward based system. It is a series of the different actions. Okay, so this is actually a performance based system. That is the reinforcement learning. Next slide, please, sir. Yes, so these are the steps in this modeling of the case study for the COVID-19 that we are using. First of all, we are getting some images just to show you the model. Training images, these are based on the COVID, these are from the COVID data sets we are importing. Okay, so training images or the training data sets are there. We are having this. Then these data sets or the training sets are provided to the model. Okay, after the learning model, we are going to test the model. Okay, so just this is a simple example of this particular model of the training images are shown here for the different kind of the fruits as well as the animals you can see in the screen. Okay, then these training images are having some features. Okay, so image features are associated with them. So these features will decide what the animal is, which fruit is there. Okay, so this training will be done with the model. Okay, and once the training model is done, then we are going to test the model. Okay, so mostly the 70% to 75% of the data, it can be used for the training purpose, and the 25 to 30% of the data that we are using for the testing purpose. And finally, we are getting the prediction from the learning model. So this is the way, this is the step which we are following for our this case study also. Next slide, sir. Okay. So system depends upon this algorithm. What the problem is and what okay, according to different problems, we can have the different algorithms. We can use the different algorithms. See, artificial intelligence, machine learning can be used anywhere. We did not use it every. Okay, so as per the problem, as per the requirement, we can use these things to the different problems. Okay, so algorithm and its success is depends upon these things. The algorithm control the search to find the build the knowledge structures. Yes, the learning algorithm should extract the useful information from training examples. Yes, next slide, please, sir. Yes, so as we talked about the different types of algorithm, there are some of the examples of these machine learning algorithms like neural networks, random forest algorithm, we have decision trees, genetic algorithms, radial basis functions, we have sigmoid functions in the recurrent neural network that we are using. So there are the different machine learning algorithms that we can be used for the different kind of the prediction models. Next slide, sir. Okay, so this is the example you can see here. In the supervised learning, the different parameters are in a structured way. Okay, so the supervised machine learning, the input patterns and output patterns, these are known to the system. Okay, but in the unsupervised machine learning, okay, we get back to you on the sigmoid function. Okay, sigmoid function, it comes under the artificial neural network. Okay, sigmoid function, the relay function, the ReLU function, as well as the different functions in the artificial neural network that we are using. These things are related to the artificial intelligence. Okay, so sigmoid function is the mathematical function which shows the weight vectors which are associated in the artificial neural network. Okay, and semi-supervised machine learning, you can see with the help of these graphs. Okay, next slide, please, sir. Yes, so this is the way, again explained in the very simplified manner with the help of this flow chart, the supervised learning model. We are going to build the three models, one using the supervised machine learning, second by using the unsupervised machine learning, and third by using the reinforcement learning. See, random forest is one of the machine learning algorithm that can be used for the different kinds of problems. Okay, random forest, decision tree, these are the different algorithm we can use for the different kind of the clustering problems as well as the classification problem. We can use this. So in the supervised machine learning, the training test documents images, sounds, the different features that can be used. Okay, and these are provided to the machine to, and we are creating the machine learning algorithm, building this model. Okay, and then the predictive model will be determined, and we are getting the expected labels as well as the predictions from it. Next slide, please, sir. Yes, the unsupervised learning, in that the you can see the feature vectors are not directly given. We need to extract the feature vectors. Okay, and in the unsupervised machine learning, the likelihood or the cluster ID as well as the better representation that will be determined. In the supervised, the basic problems are like the classification or the different problems related to the regression. So that comes under machine learning. In the unsupervised machine learning, we are going to find out the problems like anomaly detection, fraud detection. So random kind of problem that can be solved, clustering problems. Okay, so different machine learning algorithm like KNN, K means these are the clustering algorithm that comes under the unsupervised machine learning. Next slide, sir. Okay, so this is the concept of underfitting and the overfitting. You can see with the help of this graph, the underfitting and overfitting. This is a very important concept in this particular case study. See, underfitting means when the data, when the model is built with the or model is overtrained, that is called as the overfitting. And when the model is undertrained, that is called as the underfitting. When I'm talking about the overtraining as well as undertraining or overfitting and underfitting, that also relates to the features. Okay, if we are having the less features and the less amount of data, okay, that is called as the underfitting. When we are providing a very less amount of the features and the properties to the model, then the problem of underfitting will be occurred. And when the machine is overtrained or the overfitted, that the overfitting problem will be occurred. Means the features are more, the different kind of characteristics are okay. So the number of rows and number of columns, the irrelevant data is also there, and we are treated the irrelevant the features as the main features. So it will increase your data size also. It will increase your dimensions also. So the overfitting has its own disadvantages. So overfitting is the error. That error will be occurred when the data is or the model is overtrained or the fitted. Okay, so when the features are more in that particular study and the data sets are also more, irrelevant data is there in the overfitting. So these are the two kind of the problems which can be resolved using the best fitting models. Okay, next slides. Yes, so first of all we need to identify the machine learning problems. Okay, so see, supervised and unsupervised. In that unsupervised machine learning, the clustering problems, like your example of the telephone networks, okay, mobile networks. So it is divided into different clusters, hexagonal shaped networks are there, okay, for the different areas. So that is the example of the clustering. So similar basis, you can have the different problems, like for this example of COVID also. Okay, so different regions, red zone, or the different areas that can be converted into the different clusters using this clustering problems. Okay, so that comes under the unsupervised machine learning. Next is the dimensionality reduction. We can use the dimensionality reduction algorithms like PCA, that is a principal component analysis, LDA, that is a linear discriminant analysis. We can use the different lasso regression. Okay, so different kind of the dimensionality reduction algorithm we can use to reduce the storing capacity as well as to reduce the different storage as well as the dimension. So that is called as the dimensionality reduction. So these problems comes under the unsupervised machine learning algorithms, and in the supervised machine learning, different classification kind of problems, categorization problems, different kind of the regression problems. This comes under the supervised machine learning algorithms. Yes, I hope these things are clear to you, because we are going to use these things in our model of the COVID-19 prediction models. Okay, so these machine learning algorithms are very important, because as the data is important, data processing techniques are important. Similarly, the machine learning algorithms are very important, because after the data sets, after the importing the data, after the processing on the data, the next thing is to create and build the model, and that is taken care by the machine learning algorithms. That's why these algorithms are very important. So that's why I'm focusing more on this machine learning algorithm, because we are going to create the prediction algorithm, and prediction, that is the part of the machine learning algorithm. Okay, so next slide, sir. Yes, you can see the supervised learning classification is the problem, comes under the supervised learning. Next slide, please. Okay, so you can see over here the machine learning framework, how we are getting the prediction function. Okay, so the prediction functions, or when we are applying a prediction function to feature representation of the image to get the desired output, whatever we are getting, the function of the image is shown here. The function of apple, it creates the prediction as apple. So the feature of apple should be stored in that particular data set or the model. Okay, once the model recognize that this is the apple, or these are the features of apple, so it will predict that yes, this is the apple. Okay, in the second example, you can see we have provided the machine with some images of tomato, and we have created the model that this particular thing is the tomato. Once we feed that, once we given some inputs, it will predict accurately that this is the tomato. Okay, next thing is next example is of cow. Okay, so function of the features, whatever the features we are providing, whatever the features we are providing as an input to the model, it will create the prediction. Okay, it will find out the prediction very accurately. So accuracy is a very important measure in the data science and machine learning. Okay, so this is the machine learning framework. Actually, we are having some features, and the features will decide the predictions. Next slide, sir. Yes, so you can see this. y is equal to f of x. Okay, so f, this is the prediction function, x is the image feature, y is the output. Y is the dependent variable, you can say, x is the independent variable, f is the prediction function, or the whatever the feature that we are having, that is the f, that is the prediction function. What we need to find out, that is the prediction function actually. That is our goal, or our aim of this particular model. Okay, so y is the dependent, the input, that is x. Okay, so that is also called as the independent variable. So there is a relation that is called as the correlation between the dependent variables and the independent variable, that can be predicted with the help of these dependent and independent variables. Next slide, sir. Okay, so when I talk about the features, okay, features can be in a form of raw pixels, histograms, or the GIST descriptors. So different kinds of features, and that can be visualized also. Okay, next slide, sir. So we are using the many classifiers, and like a support vector machine, neural network, Navier Bayes, then the Bayesian network, logistic regression, randomized forest algorithm, decision trees, k nearest neighbor algorithm, and the RBM. Okay, so these are the different classification algorithm. We can use any out of this, but which is the best one? If this question occurs, again the answer is depending upon the requirement, depending upon the environment, or what the problem is, that is the important. Okay, and it has own accuracy, it has own its own advantages as well as the applications. Yes, there is one question, what is the GIST descriptors is. See, GIST descriptors as well as the pixels, raw pixels, all these are the different kind of the identification for the features. Okay, what the features are, whatever the features are extracted, the different types of the features, that is the actually the GIST descriptors is about. Okay, next slide, sir. Yes, the generalization. Okay, so whatever the data sets we have collected, that data set will be categorized or the splitted into the two forms, training sets as well as the test sets. Okay, so as I said previously, 70% to 75% of the data can be used for the training purpose, and the 25 to 30% of the data can be used for the testing purpose. Actually, today my plan was to show the each theory step with its, definitely due to the some technical issue, this is not possible today to have the parallel sessions, like parallel task, like theory session as well as the practical session. It is not possible for today. So in the next session, we are going to have the practical approach, or the hands-on, to create the model for the COVID-19. So this is the generalization about the training sets and testing set. We have splitted that different data sets in the two forms. Okay, next slide. So this is the Bayes and variance trade-off. Okay, so as we have studied about the underfitting and overfitting model, the same thing is. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Okay, so effect of training size is also important to get the prediction model. Actually, it won't work. Actually, there is a one graph. Next slide, sir. Okay, why we are using Python for data science? Okay, why not the R programming? Why not the Java? Why we are not using the different languages? Because the Python, it provides a very good flexibility, as well as it is having the good interface. Next slide, sir. Yes, these are the reasons. Okay, more flexibility, code simplicity, visualization ability, platform independence, the larger community, better libraries. These are some of the reasons. That's why we are using the Python for this case study. Okay, we are not using the other programming languages for this particular case study. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the some of the popular Python libraries for data science. NumPy, that is the numerical Python. Pandas, this is the to read the data sets. Matplotlib, this is to visualize the data. SciPy, this is the machine learning library, as well as the scikit-learn. This is used for the machine learning algorithms. Cbun to visualize the data, okay, in the form of the different plots and graphs. So these are the different Python libraries which we are using for the data science case study. So actually, in this particular case study, we are going to use these all libraries. Okay, so in the next session, we are going to have the modeling of the pandemic in data science using the Python as well as the Jupyter Notebook. So if time permits, we can also have the coding in the Google Colab also. Some of the students asked about the Google Colab. We can also explain this particular model in the Google Colab also. Okay, so that is from my side. If any questions regarding this concept or the pandemic of the data science, you can ask me.
Guys, feel free to, if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, feel free to share. And, if you have any, and if anybody has any doubts, they can ask right now. And also, we'll be continuing with the session tomorrow. And also, I'll be sharing this feedback form. So I request everybody to fill this form so that, we'll appreciate the feedback. And I hope, I request everybody to join tomorrow's session as well, because this session will continue tomorrow. And Dr. Ganesh will show you the live, with using Python and data science, how it is done.
Yes, yes.
So
Sorry for
again,
all the. Actually, today I connected my audio to this mobile. Okay, that's why the many things are missing in this presentation. Okay, so you guys, you will get more things in the next session. Okay. Yes, Dhruv sir.
Yeah, just guys, if you have any questions again, also I would like to tell you that your certificates will be sent to you within 2 days. Also, if you want to see the session of this recording, you can go to our YouTube channel, Unikaksha, where you can see the recording of this session as well. And I request you to fill this feedback form shared to you. And I hope we'll see you everybody tomorrow again. Still anybody has questions, any queries? Feel free to, it's a very interactive session. And also I request the form which I sent earlier, whosoever has not filled the form, please fill the form so that we can send you the certificates for participation. So thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. Please make sure to fill both the forms and don't fill it again, and hope to see you tomorrow again, everybody. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Dr. Ganesh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you all of you. Thank you very much. Please join tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Does anybody has any question? The timing will be the same, 4 to 6. Timing will be the same for tomorrow. Same timing tomorrow, 4 to 6. Hope to see you again. And please don't forget to fill the forms. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
yeah, like I said, the video will be uploaded on YouTube channel Unique Aksha. You can see all the other session also. You can see all the sessions again, and all recorded from other courses also. You can see the classes on YouTube channel Unique Aksha. Okay. So thanks everyone again. I'll just end this session now. Thanks everyone.